All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Here we go again for round two. Trying to make sure that we can hear my brother this time on this go round. So let's see. Just waiting a second for him to come back.
Probably be live. That is just crazy. I'm on live as broad as call it. Right now. Somebody would yeah, somebody was just calling. She never calls me either. She never calls me. It's sad.
Yeah, man.
She
I
never
still
calls me.
can't hear you.
Oh my goodness. I reset my phone and everything. Fuck. What do I gotta fucking do here? Device, speakerphone,
Yeah, I can't hear you, my guy.
nothing, huh? Fuck it.
Yeah, that sucks, guys. So unfortunately, we weren't able to get hear him here, bros. But so just to get into a little bit of the show, man, and get into West Pappin. Um, obviously we kept Max Crosby, man. Like I'm gonna get straight to it. We had that whole saga with Crosby and the Ravens and they bullshit and talking about his knee and the doctors and the pullout. But when we heard the story from Max, they flew my boy in on the regular flight. You know what I mean? 5 hour flight, not even private plane. And then there's a 2 hour drive after the 5 hour flight, 6 hour flight. You know what I'm saying? GM don't pull up. He's not trying to be there to meet and greet, and really welcome his signature player, right? So you would think that if I'm a, you know, super asset, all this to the team, people is going to be, treating me a particular type of way. And so you can kind of see the writing on the wall. He said he can kind of see it, when he was looking at the head coach's face and he saw the GM in the corner and all that type of stuff. He is where he's supposed to be. At the end of the day, man, we love to see him. Shout out to him. Shout out to his family. We love mom and pop. Shout out to Brian and Vera. It's just a family, right? And we love how they treat the Raiders, and we love how they love Raider Nation, right? So Crosby came back. Obviously, he has that $35 million cap hit for us this year. He still has 3 years left, right? He still has three years left on his contract. Um, and he's 29 right now, right? So he'll be 32 by the time his contract is out. But Max still has we ain't even gotta talk about what he got in the tank, man. He got it. You feel me? And it's gonna be interesting to see. And so along with Max, even though we didn't re-sign him, right? We were able to retain him. Excuse me. Along with Max, we brought back Kunzi. You know what I mean? You guys already know. Y'all know how I feel about Malcolm Kuntz. Y'all know how I've been the sounding board for him ever since he got there. And he once he got his little opportunity, he did suffer an injury, and was out, and has slowly been trying to come back to form that he went right before he got injured, right? And so we're happy to have Kuntz re-sign back on the squad to pair up with Max, and then we also retained Eric Stokes. Stokes and Kuntz got 11 million. So his cap hit for us is 11 million this year. So 1 year, and he's 28, so he'll be 29 next year for them to figure out if they want to. It depends on what he does this year, right? And then Eric Stokes, one of our boy E Stokes, really he did a solid job last year at the corner spot. He earned his contract. So he's going to be on for 3 years. 6.6 cap hit for us this year, right? So not too bad. Not too bad for Stokes. I think it's friendly for us. And then some of the other cats that we brought in, Tyler Linderbaum is going to be the headliner, right? Linderbaum is the headliner because we needed to shore up this offensive line. We needed that dog presence, and we got arguably one of the best centers in the NFL, right? And Linderbaum. So shout out to Tom Brady and Spytech, on making sure that they're plugging in pieces. My boy D Menace, man, what's up, D Menace? They picking up pieces, you feel me, that they need, right? So Linderbaum was the major piece brought in to pair him up with Colt Miller, JPJ. It's gonna be something to see. We also brought in of course the Georgia boys, the Bulldogs, right? We got some real dogs back there in that linebacker room, right? Figuratively and literally, right? With Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean. So Quay's coming in. He's got a 9.6 million cap hit for us this year. But they got him on a 3-year deal for us coming in 3. It was really like a 2-year deal, but 3-year deal for us, man. I know, bro. Me too, D. And the Kobe he's got a 7.9 cap hit for us, but he's just so. What I like about all the people that they brought in, right? So even with Max coming back, right? They didn't bring Max in, but Max coming back or staying, right? Solidifying that he's staying. Max has 3 years left. Linderbaum is in for 3 years. Quay was for 3 years. Taron Johnson, 3 years, right? Kwity Paye, 3 years. Jalen Naylor, 3 years. Nakobe, 3 years. Stokes extended for 3 years, or got his deal, right? So Connor Hayward's 2 years. So everybody's on the same timeline, right? And we also brought in the special teams linebacker, Gwen Olibin, I think his name is. They brought him in. His cap hit is 1.15. Prove it deal, year deal. He's 26 years old. And mind you, the ages, right? So Burford, another lineman that we brought in, I don't know his details on his contract or nothing like that just yet. But he's a 25-year-old. We know he was coming from San Francisco. He spent some time in San Francisco under the system with Kubiak. So he has familiarity, right? Familiarity with the system. He's 25. Connor Hayward is 27. Derek Young is 26.
He's still on it. Okay.
Yo. Well, you are back on stage, brother, but again, we cannot hear you. Maybe you just gotta write on the right board and hold it up. That's crazy. Hey, but yeah, we still can't hear you, brother. But Derek Young is 26. Stokes is 27. Nakobe's 25. About to be 26. Jalen Naylor's 27. Quiddy's 27. Terrence Johnson is 29, right? He's a little bit up there, but that's a good veteran nickel. Quay is 25. You got Kuntz is 28. You feel me? And Linderbaum is 25, about to be 26, right? And, you know, Crosby's 29, right? About to be 30, coming up on 30. I like that they brought in all these people and the contracts that they brought them all in, and that we're all on the same timeline, right? We're going to be able to see how the team develops together in this timeline. Again, they've been cooking, and so right now, as it stands, from when I checked today, last I checked, and I'm using Spotrac. They have us sitting at 26.3 million in cap space left, right? So that's enough, just enough. We want about 15 to 20. So I feel we could probably make another move or so, barring any like restructuring, right? So because we got Colton Miller. Colton Miller is 22.5 million against the cap this year, and Max is 35.7, right? So those two players right there, as we know, being spoken about from other Raider podcasters and people who what's the word I'm looking for? The like the Schefters and the people of the world. I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but we know that we can restructure, right? There's room to be able to restructure some contracts, especially with those two, right? So who knows how much money we could potentially end up having before it's all said and done. But right now it has us at 26.3 million in cap space. So and that's around 16th in the NFL, according to Spotrac. I know it's a couple different programs or a couple different things out there that may have different numbers, different amounts and shit. But I'm running with Spotrac right now. So looking at that, right? Looking at where the roster is right now and the players that they brought in, obviously there's some people that and I know my boy Reddy Killmonger wanted to touch on that, the people that we lost, right? We did lose a couple free agents. People like Will Putnam, we lost. Who else went and got some money somewhere else? Was it a corner or something like that? Yeah, honestly, D-Minutes, I think he does, right? I think with the mindset that Max has right now, that he's solidified at being all in with this. I think he does. Restructure. I don't think it's a problem for him to restructure at all, especially seeing all the moves we made, right? So knowing, because this was Max's problem, right? He didn't want to come back to a rebuilding team starting all the way over, right? Which we technically were. He's like, okay, we're gonna have a rookie quarterback and we got a brand new head coach, and we're gonna be losing players, and we're gonna be drafting new players, all that type of stuff. But when you look at how they we didn't really we didn't lose a lot. You know what I mean? We gained more. It's like the team now looks better than it did last year. And so for him to look at the team now and be like, yeah, well, I want to be on a contending team. That's why I want to go somewhere else, because I want to compete for a championship. Well, he's looking at this team like, you know what? We ain't that bad, bro. Because when Max was gone, right? The people that we picked up gave us a solid defense. We had solid players on our defense, right? With the picking the Kobe's and this and that's, but we didn't have no superstar player. Now we brought Max back, a superstar player, to add with this fucking defense, bro. I think Max is gonna be happy, and I think he would be happy to restructure to make sure that we can make another move or two. You know what I mean? If we like again, we still, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, unless he was signed, I didn't. I got to check the traps. DJ Reader's still out there, man. We need a player like a Reader. You know what I'm saying? That's a pickup that we can make that will help out the D line. Right. We lost Gino. Right. We lost Gino to free agency. Thank goodness. You know what I mean? Thank goodness. But yeah, I like what they was doing, and I do think that Max will restructure. I think Colton wouldn't mind restructuring either. You know what I mean? Because restructuring don't mean that they're not gonna get their money. It's just moving it to somewhere else. You feel me? And why wouldn't you? If you're gonna be a team player and all out for the team, then why wouldn't you restructure? You know what I mean? I'm like, nigga, as long as I'm gonna get my money right, okay, well, then we good. You know? So I know as we're talking about the free agents that left and stuff like that, kind of looking at the roster now, right? And looking at where we at with it. Me and Killmonger, we was talking about like, okay, who do we feel is on the bubble, like roster bubbles, right? Because we need depth. So even when we're talking about these players being on the bubble, that's not necessarily saying that they're going to be cut. They could be moved to the practice squad and things like that or whatever. But we're just saying, like, when you look at who for sure you see solidified as a starter, and who's going to be getting significant playing time, and then cast that they could take a next step, or you could also see them, potentially falling by the wayside, right? So I'm gonna start at the top, right? And we just got to start with leadership, right? When I say leadership, I mean the cast running the show. So the quarterbacks. Now, obviously, we need depth at the quarterback spot, right? We need a number 2 quarterback. So I'm saying that AOC's on the bubble just because we know that Mendoza is the future, right? Mendoza is the future. And that's not to say, when I say AOC's on the bubble, that's not to say that Key is not a viable number 2 or they won't retain him. I just feel like at that quarterback spot, we are going to be solidified with Mendoza. So depending on who they bring in, and again, I wouldn't mind keeping AOC as a number 2. And even if you did bring in a veteran, just make him a veteran that's going to be number 3 and mentoring, right? And kind of just playing that role where he's mentoring a young guy. So AOC is who I would say was on the bubble, but he's not really on the bubble like that. I think he still could be an asset to the team. So then you go down to our offensive line. So for offensive line, I have on the roster bubble, you got Robinson. These are some of these names. If y'all don't know, I ain't gonna get into them because they roster bubbles. But Robertson and Miles are 2 cast offensive linemen we have on the roster on the depth chart. You got Dalton Wagner and McClendon Curtis. And now those 4 players I say are on the bubble. The reason why I say on the bubble, obviously you're going to keep around. Fuck no, D-Menace. Fuck no. Look, man. Look, man. Look. You already know how I feel about Carr. How I feel about Carr as a football player aside. Carr is a great person. He's a fantastic human being, bro. No, we do not need that shit. Not even a thought. Not even a thought about it, bro. Not even a thought about it. I would rather have Minshew back than Carr. I would rather have Minshew back. I don't see what, and I'm not even saying that that's you. I know why you. It's a valid question because people No, it's out there, bro. It's out there. It's out there. It's out there. And that's just one of the most ridiculous things, bro. It's one of the most ridiculous things, man. It's out there though. But no way. Um, because what is he going to mean to like you're saying I want somebody that's actually going that has success that you know what I mean is going to mentor the young quarterback into something successful. What is Carr going to mentor this motherfucker into? Like, no, I do not need that rubbing off on Mendoza. I need Mendoza to keep that dog in him that he got. Um, but obviously we need depth at O line, and so the O line room right now looks like this. So with those four that I named off as on the bubble, but we got Linderbaum, JPJ, Colton Miller, DJ Glaze, and I just said Charles Rogers as the fifth. Now, hey, there could be there. This could go a bunch of different ways. This could go a bunch of different ways. You could have Glaze and then Rogers at a guard, or we did tender Jordan Meredith. So we know Jordan Meredith prior to last year at center. The year before that, he was phenomenal at guard, right? So you could have something like a Jordan Meredith starting at guard instead of Rogers, of course. Then you could also have somebody like Grant starting instead of Glaze at tackle, which could potentially have Glaze have value at guard. There's a lot of ways that can go. What we do know for sure, Colton Miller is going to be the left tackle, Linderbaum is going to be the center, and JPJ is going to be the right guard. That's what we do know. You know what I mean? And the putting of the pieces wherever they go, that's what's going to be detrimental. And I know DiCamillo, I believe that's his name, our O-line coach, is going to have them playing way better than retard Carroll. And I have to say that so he's like they're my family members, man. You know what I mean? The Carrolls, man. And so my cousin Brennan, man, he didn't get the job done, y'all. And I apologize. Hey, my bad. I tried to tell Uncle Pete, man. He won't listen to me. You know what I mean? So, I'll take that one, man. That was the, but then Burford, right? And Burford is another wild card, right? He probably won't start, but he could. He could. I mean, he's on the roster. If he's in the offseason and he's working, and they see what they need to see out of him, it could be a potential that Burford starts. You know what I mean? So I like the depth that we got on O-line, and I like that we have a good O-line coach that's going to know how to utilize the depth that we have, man. And but again, this was about the Castles on the bubble. And I did put Jordan Meredith on the bubble again, even though I said that you could still see him potentially as a starter. He was given a tender by the team. So, if he is moved or a team is interested in him, it could potentially be something where we end up losing Meredith. But so that's he's on the bubble for that. And then when it comes to the tight end room, obviously we brought in Connor Hayward. Connor Hayward, who is a fullback hybrid / tight end / H-back, knick-knack, patty wax. He's going to be doing all the hard-nosed stuff, in the middle, opening holes for Genty and all this other type of stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how Kubiak uses him in the offense. But we have Akugi Boom. I know I messed that up. But he's one of our tight ends on the end of the roster, and Carter Runyon. I say that those two cats are on the roster bubble because I don't see Brock Bowers, Mike Mayer, or Connor Hayward on the bubble, right? So you have those, even though again they could potentially come back. I know Carter Runyon's been on the roster for a few years now. They could come back as practice squad players and things like that, but that's just my roster bubble. And then when you come to the wide receiver room, you know what I mean? You got your wide receivers this year is going to be in Jalen Naylor that they brought in from the Vikings. You got Jack Bech. You got Dante Thornton. you got Trey Tucker, and then you got Derek Young, the cat that they brought in from Seattle. Those 5 are going to be on the roster. All right, my brother, man. Good job. Good luck at work, man. Don't work too hard. Don't hurt yourself. Safety first. All that stuff, man. Appreciate you tapping in with me, brother. Always. Um, is those guys are going to be on the roster, right? So, but then you got Philip Dorsett, who I think is an interesting bubble piece, right? And then you got the young receivers in Shedrick Jackson, Brendan Rice, and Justin Shorter, all who I feel are on the bubble as well. Again, I do see them coming back to the practice squad, but you never know, who may be interested. I know Shedrick Jackson for sure he didn't all the way come out like we thought he was going to, but we saw some potential in what he was doing last year. When it comes back to the running back room, we got Genty, Laube, and Collier. Put Collier on the roster bubble because I feel like they will use Laube in the special teams game, especially as like a gunner, kickoff, kick return, things like that. I feel like that's where his value is being felt. So then when we come down to the defensive ends, right, we got to the defense. So now we're on the defensive side of the ball, man. We're on the defensive side of the ball. That was the offensive side of the ball, who I thought was on the roster bubble. Coming in this year on defense, you got Crosby, you got Kwity Paye, you got Malcolm Koonce as like an end outside linebacker. He's probably going to be outside linebacker, but we had him at end before, so I had him in that end line. Snowden, too. Both of them potentially in this 3-4 end up as outside backers, right? But I got Crosby, Paye, Koonce, Snowden, and Harvey, and Crosby could potentially be outside linebacker too, right? Harvey and Wilson, Jafari Harvey and Wilson. I had Jafari Harvey and Tyree Wilson both on the roster bubble. Tyree, I think this is his year to he's got to show, because this is another regime that did not draft him, right? And so he's still on our roster. He's still signed to us. He's still on the contract. So I think this is going to be his year. He has to show his development and his improvement, or he will be gone. I think he will be gone next year if he doesn't show himself. So then when it comes to the D tackles, of course we need a true nose. But we got Butler, we got Hemingway, we got Laulu, we got Booker, we got Ma'a, Martin, and Pegues. So I have Ma'a, Martin, and Pegues on the roster bubble, right? Again, that's not to say that they will be going anywhere or will be cut. It could potentially go to practice squad, or it could be put in the rotation. Obviously, deep tackle is one of those things we do need a little rotation, but not as much this year, right? It's going to be more linebacker than deep tackle because of the defense that we're running with the 3-4. And Booker, the reason why I put him as a roster bubble as well with Ma'a, Martin, and Pegues is that they did tender Booker, and they gave him, I think, want to say a 5th round tender. So like if a team decided they wanted to get Booker, we're gonna get a 5th round pick for him, right? And then you coming into the linebacker room with Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker, Lindenberg, Eichenberg, Jamin Davis, and Brennan Jackson. I have Davis and Brennan Jackson, and loosely Eichenberg as well on that roster bubble. Loosely, I say loosely Eichenberg. I do think he can still be an asset to the team. He definitely has to show himself approved, right? And because we're gonna need linebackers. Obviously, if you're having Koonce and Snowden kind of at linebacker / DN, you're right. So the linebacker room is a little bit bigger with that 3-4 move. But I do have Jamin Davis and Brennan Jackson on the roster bubble for the linebackers. And then when it comes to The corners, obviously, we re-signed Stokes. We got Porter. We signed Taron Johnson and D. Camarion is still there. We got Greedy Vance and Chikuzi Anusium. And I think that Chikuzi and Greedy both will be on the roster bubble. Not necessarily on the bubble like they're going anywhere, but I don't think that Porter right now, Porter Johnson, DCam, or Stokes. And I'll put DCam in that bubble thing too, because we can always upgrade. Can always have an upgrade. So I'll put them there with that corner position with solidified, at least for this year, Porter Johnson and Stokes and DCam loosely. I probably in Chiguzi, I think he is a little bit younger, newer to the team than DCam, so he may get more of a look or leeway as he's ain't really been here. So then the safety spots, you got Jeremy Chin, Palomao, and Terrell Edmonds. And I have Edmonds on the bubble. I think they need to draft a safety. That'll be cool. We can, I don't know. Maybe Spy taking him is good at safety. We tried that before, right? And, it didn't necessarily work out the way that it needed to work out. But yeah, man, so I feel like, man, I don't know. What is the strength right now? Obviously, with Max coming back, it's hard to, and the moves that they made with the defense, it's hard to say that the defense is not the strength. But I like what the offense looks like. So I like what it's the offense is sneaky. It's sneaky because you're gonna look at that wide receiver core, you're gonna be like, it's not Jalen Naylor, okay, Trey Tucker, speed, Jack Bash, he was rookie last year, Thornton, rookie last year. Development is gonna be key. I preface by saying that development is key, man. But I feel like if Jack Bash can turn the page and Thor can turn the page, all that we need a receiver, a number one receiver. I was like, we got a number one receiver on our roster. His name is Dante Thornton Jr. We have a number one receiver. He has to mold into that game, right? It wasn't in him. It was just on him at the time. Now he's trying to get it in him so that he can be able to recreate the same types of performances every week. You know what I mean? And that's going to come with work. So I hope he's working in the offseason to improve his craft, because I feel like if he does, we have a number one receiver in Dante Thornton. And, and not for nothing, we have a 1A, 1B, and 1C option, because Jack Bash, if he develops into what he was in terms of what he was doing to competition when he was in college, if he can get that comfortability and get into that mode where he's able to make the same separations and things like that in the pro game, man, he can turn into a crazy good possession receiver as well. All you got to do is just get open, man. You know what I mean? Just get open. But yeah, man, I wanted to come on with the homie and just talk free agency for a minute, and kind of just come back, to the nation. I know it's been a minute, man, since you see my face, and hopefully you'll be seeing more from me on this Nation or Nothing podcast, man. So everybody that's over on Red Nation Drinking Club, man, I need to come over here too. Come over here to the Nation or Nothing podcast, man. When that's not going on, we got it going on over here, man. Yeah, I was just happy to jump on, man, and just talk a little bit of Raider football with y'all, man, and kind of get into this free agency, kind of get into what I want to see from the team. I think, like I said, I think we definitely need a nose tackle. I think we could use a backup running back. I think we use a good backup running back. And I also think that anything when it comes to the trenches, solidifying the trenches and making those right, you know, it's gonna be a good decision, man. Hey, thank y'all, man. Raider Nation, man. Raiderholics, you know, I appreciate you for coming out, tapping in with me today. Shout out to my boy D Menace, man. The realest nigga in it, man. D Menace is the realest nigga in it. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. Um, but I know brothers at work now, so salute to him. Salute to everybody that wanted to tap in and didn't. I wish y'all was here with me right now. I know y'all might check out the show or something. You gonna check out the stream, man, and write a comment on the stream, man, when you see it. It ain't gotta be live, right? Whenever you're watching this, if you're watching this right now, man, make sure you comment, man, and let us know you was in here, man, so I can see who was in here rocking with us, man. And again, I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate you for coming out, man. And always with your boy GQ Raider, man. It's nation or nothing, man. It's nation or nothing. Holla.